we all have experienced energy drinks where there's that crash, there's that jitter.
And you're shaking.
It's like
brutal.
It's brutal. It's the number one drug. We know caffeine is like 95% of Americans daily have some form of caffeine. So I wanted to make it in a format that was a really kind of a new release that was steady state, smooth. We call it smooth energy release. For those ADDers like me, like this is L-theanine. It has caffeine, L-theanine, ashwagandha, and that really gets you into kind of a focus state. So these cognitive supplements like nootropics is really what makes you kind of steady. So the fact is we're using this old guard term of microdosing, right? It's like psychedelic term, but it's really more about like, how do I control my intake? And I have a disposition that I can take a couple before I go to bed, but some people really get whacked out. But we're not going to have this crash. The other thing I hated about the energy drink thing, and trust me, I was a big addict because I loved them when
Sure.
Is the fact that like, when they get warm, to me, they're kind of nasty. So I'll pop one. I'm like, it's good flavor. Then I'm like, that's kind of not where I want it to be. And you can't just like take sips and come back. Or I can't share this and like, Peter, try this. But with this, what you're going to find is like, this is totally mobile, shareable, and I get to control my dosage. So microdosing for us, that's really what we're doing.
Here we are again. Today is a great day. You know why it's a great day? Because I'm here with a friend who just launched a company that's going to be the next big thing. I love nothing better than working with my friends. This is the Utah Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Peter Anthony. I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, and I need you to share this with all your friends. And if you have something nasty to say, well, say it. Let's get it on. There's nothing between us but air and opportunity. Today, I am with Paul Vassau, and Paul is not only is he a friend, he's a mentor. He's just one of the most interesting men I've ever met. And about a year ago, he told me what he was going to do. I love when people say it and then do it. And today he's going to launch on this show an incredible product. We're going to talk about it. Welcome, Paul. How are you, man?
Thank you, Peter. I'm great. Thanks. It's a pleasure and honor. And, I think a lot of you. So yeah, we met early in this journey and you saw it. You saw it from the beginning. So
yeah, man, it's cool.
Thank you.
The company name is Dripz.
Dripz Energy. Yes.
Yeah. So let's hold it up and tell people where they can find it.
Well, we are launching and actually rebrand. This might be cool, but what's evolved as most entrepreneurs is that you launch a brand and then you think, well, there may be version 2.0 and it's coming. So I've brought on some amazing, brilliant marketeers. Many people may know, but the gentleman that founded and started The Grit, he's a world-class marketer and his father's an investor. So we've kind of gone a long way. So Dripz Energy is the world's first nootropic energy candy in a hard form. So this kind of old guard like us that's kind of like coming from, sweet tarts with the fizz or a Zot,
Right.
So we're like, there's gummies and there's gums and mints and stuff, but Dripz Energy is here to stay. And I think the flavor profile is fantastic. And what really brought me here was I was going to do an energy drink 25 years ago. And the cost of goods is a lot. Now it's this red ocean. It's way crowded. Mm-hmm. So this is a pretty blue ocean. No one's done this. This is the world's first. Like almost if you can patent a formulation, which you really can't. But wait till you see. You're going to hear a lot of noise about this. But this came off of Joe Rogan's was pushing on his show. This whole nootropics. I'm like, what the hell is nootropic, And it's this cognitive mushroom kind of era that we're in right now. So that's been added to this. But this is really in its essence about microdosing caffeine. So we're attacking the energy drink.
I love it. So where can people find it?
Well, we're online now at our website, dripsenergy.com.
Dripsenergy.com. And it's Dripz with a Z.
With a Z. Drips
right?
with a Z.
Dripz with a Z.
Yeah.
Energy.com.
Yeah.
So you can find it, you can acquire it, and you can try it. Tell me, when I try it, how do I feel?
Yeah. So what's really cool about this, and the reason we did it is we all have experienced energy drinks where there's that crash, there's that jitter.
And you're shaking.
It's like
brutal.
It's brutal. It's the number one drug. We know caffeine is like 95% of Americans daily have some form of caffeine. So I wanted to make it in a format that was a really kind of a new release that was steady state, smooth. We call it smooth energy release. For for those ADDers like me, like this is L-theanine. It has caffeine, L-theanine, ashwagandha, and that really gets you into kind of a focus state. So these cognitive supplements like nootropics is really what makes you kind of steady. So the fact is we're using this old guard term of microdosing, right? It's like psychedelic term, but it's really more about like, how do I control my intake? And I have a disposition that I can take a couple before I go to bed, but some people really get whacked out. But we're not going to have this crash. The other thing I hated about the energy drink thing, and trust me, I was a big addict because I loved them when, you know,
Sure.
Is the fact that like, you know, when they get warm, to me, they're kind of nasty. So I'll pop one. I'm like, oh, it's good flavor. Then I'm like, that's kind of not where I want it to be. And you can't just like take sips and come back. Or I can't share this and like, Peter, try this. But with this, what you're going to find is like, this is totally mobile, shareable, and I get to control my dosage. So microdosing for us, that's really what we're doing.
And it doesn't, and now this drives you back towards hydration as well, because
Totally.
you're drinking more water instead of drinking these carbonated drinks that actually go through you and dehydrate you.
Very good point. So the point of this is we think the fastest way to take any drug or chemical would be first here. The next would be sublingually. The fact that you're lacing your stomach lining and I'm surprised they get any efficacy, right? You're drinking these drinks and it has to kind of do its thing. This will hit you really fast. The flavor profile is great. You're letting it dissolve in your mouth. Some people with candy have a disposition. They want to go in hot and just start chewing it. This will blow up in your mouth. This has a little bit of like a.
I love the way you describe things. Like
So
we're going in hot.
So we kind of use this funny thing is like, oh, you know, suck it. And they think that's funny, but it's like, it really is like, just let it dissolve and enjoy it. And then people are like, well, I love these. So why don't you make one more powerful? 25 milligrams per drip is nothing. So 2 is like having a Coke. 4 is like having a cup of coffee. 8 is like having a Monster. So this has essentially 4 or 8 energy drinks in this bag. For the cost is $11.99. So you're getting all this added benefit. Plus it's kind of a mega vitamin. So if little Johnny took this, it's good for him. You know, you're not going to like hurt someone. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what else is in it?
So we take vitamin, B, C, D. It's the whole kind of plethora of vitamins, but we use a very natural form of caffeine, kind of a green tea extract.
So it's infused with vitamins as well.
For sure. So this guy, if you will, it's like a mega vitamin at its core. Then you're adding like nootropic, so ashwagandha, L-theanine, and lion's mane, which is the mushroom play. And that's what makes this cognitive thing. So you're getting this kind of added benefit of focus and this.
And that's what we all need. But we don't need it. We don't need it a sustained over 8 hours of shaking.
That's right.
What we need is a little tiny push,
little bump.
a little. It's like I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
That's right.
Especially when I find I went from being an active, working, integrative, physical job for 25 years to the last 15 years being behind the computer.
That's right. That's right.
So our marketing agency designs, launches, and then and curates, but I'm curating on a screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm either meeting with people or curating on a screen. And during that time, even if it's Zoom meetings, there's not enough air. There's not enough sunlight.
Yeah.
You just need that little pump, but so you reach either for a coffee or Red Bull or, gosh, don't do Monsters, and it's nothing against Monster, but you should make much smaller batches, but I get it.
Yeah.
From a marketing standpoint.
Yeah.
Right. But this is so much better and so different. You're just awake.
That's right.
And you're like, oh, okay, cool. There's the screen.
That's exactly right.
There's the answer.
Exactly
now
right.
I can engage, but I'm not hostile.
That's exactly right.
I'm not antsy.
Yeah, that's the space we really feel like we want to be the clean energy, healthy energy alternative. We're coming out swinging. We're trying to be a rebellion brand and have fun with this. We're like, 5 Hour Energy. I don't for those that take the little bottle, like they've really hit a niche in the market. But I actually think it's kind of a lousy product. Not to bash any of my competitors, but
it's just a caffeine. It's just a shot of caffeine.
It's just a shot of caffeine.
It tastes terrible.
It's the flavor profile's bad, but they call it like trucker fuel. And I don't know if you know how many units they sell a day in C-stores, but 500,000 to 1 million units a day, and they've done it for 20 years, and no one else has come into the space. So there's a private equity firm, friends of mine that are actually looking to buy them, and I'm like, hey, if you want the next cool thing. Give me half of the shelf space. I'll show you what's going to happen. That's really what's at stake here, because the total addressable market in this, as you know, I almost did a drink 20 years ago. And, drinks cost of goods is hard, expensive, it's kind of like, but I should have done it. This is before vitamin water. So we probably could have made a play there. And now I think with Dripz, we have this whole new market.
But it's a better deliverable and better delivery mechanism to market.
Yes.
Because so many of you, so the people who want to go into that space, the storage capacity to store bottles and to ship them is so detrimental to a profit margin, especially when you're launching, because you just don't have the spread necessary. Here, you're in a better deliverable. It's easier to ship. It's easy for people to try.
Totally.
And once they like it, it's easy to be on auto ship.
You're exactly right. And now I think with this TikTok generation, like watch what happens in the next month. We're going to produce 2,000 pieces of content, a UGC, user generated. And with that, you'll see this kind of noise machine as we relaunch our new brand. But the TikTok generation, this is a perfect kind of price point. We're driving our COGS down very low. So in terms of being a profitable, new sector, it's going to be just wait. It should be a pretty explosive thing. So
and we're so grateful that you're here in Utah, right? Because
we
need to bring more businesses to Utah.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding. Utah is a fantastic place to start.
Unbelievable.
A business.
Yeah.
It's, we have the technology, we have all kinds of manufacturing. It's an ecosystem.
It is,
and to coin a word, it's the incubator, right?
For sure,
right? Which is our company, clearly. So I'm getting a little play there, but it is an incubator for companies to launch and to scale.
Well,
so we have everything we need here.
And you're exactly right. I mean, we're approaching this not as just a single brand, but as somewhat of an incubus, as multiple CPG brands. So that's what we will be known for. A lot of the efficiencies and a lot of the processes that we're kind of going through now will be replicatable, and we'll be able to launch other products fast.
What's the hardest thing about starting a business?
Well, I think, as I think we have a unique dynamic. You're talking to my wife, Julie, who is now the CEO and founder of this blanket company, Juju. And it's this scented blanket that's awesome. We kind of came up with these things and said, our children are growing old. They're leaving the nest. Let's nest a few. Let's birth a few babies and enjoy this. I always wanted to do e-com. I thought it's such a great business model. Supply chain's hard. So I think, to your question, like having enough capital to be able to sustain the bump, especially with hyper kind of scale new channels like TikTok. How do you predict? If this thing hits, it's like you're not selling out of a few convenience stores. You're like, oh boy, we need a bigger ship fast. So I think in the same thing with, like, Julie has a little more complex supply chain, but even this is, I think, the capital and cost of capital, and really understanding how you're going to get ahead of that and manage that kind of spike, and to be able to sustain it. Because this is probably going to be a push-pull where we're going to have strong online, a lot of organic, a lot of subscription, because you get a subscription online and have this shipped every couple of weeks, depending upon your intake. But the other is C-stores. 500,000 to 1 million units a day. We're going to have to get a really, really big, backing. And I think we're positioned really well now with private equity to sustain us. So
when you have the idea, what was your next move?
So clearly you want to get on the bus with the right people. I kind of felt like, and I think I've matured through this, but you think about a cool brand like this and you think, oh, Shopify is the coolest thing ever. It's just cha-ching. You wake up, it's cha-ching, cha-ching. You see this coming through, and people are buying from all around the country, and that's fun. Should we go to shows? Should we that's kind of like, to get our brand out? Should we just go all online, paid ads, and go out big? I think that's been the hardest part, is finding those partners, because there's a lot of agencies out there. I've spent the last year since you and I met, Peter, like just interviewing agencies. Who's real? Who's not? Who's going to kind of take us to that one? Who has really strong track record of success and that I want to do business with? The cool thing about being an entrepreneur is you got to pick your favorite partners, but some of them we've made some oopses. You just don't know.
And you did something that I thought was really, really cool. Before you even completely had the brand up, you started to look for your board of directors. You started to look for the mentors to surround yourself with. This is, for anybody who's thinking about doing a business, this is not normal. Most people get a little feedback It's generally negative
Yeah.
because they're asking friends and family, and friends and family see you as one thing. So, Paul, you
Very good
went
point.
out and you started looking for the hottest people in the business community, not to
Yeah.
be investors,
Yeah.
but to be on your board.
Yeah.
So you said, "Hey, I've got this really cool idea. I'd be honored if you'd be on my board." And
Yeah.
I thought that was really genius
Thank you.
because it's something that most Utah businesses don't do, right?
Yeah.
They kind of bootstrap it. They find a bunch of friends to invest, and they go ask the family to invest.
That's right.
And it still comes out okay.
Right.
But you designed for grandeur
Yeah.
instead of designed for grind.
That's a great point. No, I think you're right.
And there's a huge difference between the grind and the grandeur.
It's a great point. I know I'm not the smartest guy in the room, especially entering into a new space. I mean, you and I've talked that I came from a tech background. Cross our fingers, like this company, my last one, this startup is a $1 billion plus business now, and I was lucky to find this young entrepreneur guy. I didn't like my former career. It was burnout. You know, I felt like tech was just not my place. And that's a hard thing to kind of work through. But you're like, I did it for my family, did the right thing. But then when this came out, my energies now are really good. But I got to be pretty good at meeting a lot of C-levels and putting them in a position of what we call a growth advisory board. So it's not a directorship. It's more about, I need mentorship from guys like you. You've had more reps than me. What can we learn together? And that really is not just about like strategic door openers, but like that knowledge, that kind of wisdom of ages. So yeah, not to name drop, but we've had some pretty powerful people from Utah that I recognize are really not just in this space, but you want different looks. So maybe I've got some guys from, chairman and CEO, former of Overstock. And, we both know Jeff Lamb, and he's more of a, his background, it doesn't matter. He's a good person. He's solid. He's wisdom. So I want
He's my best friend.
He's your best friend. And I would say he's a lot of people's best friend. Like they think that of him. And he's just wonderful. But if you get a cross section of all of those capabilities and then you bring them together, now you've got a team that really cares because they're buying in early. That was premature probably to do that. My wife was like, what are we doing before we have this, that? And it's like, you need good coaches that you can trust. And it ain't me as your husband. Like you need to really look at this broad landscape. And we've learned, Julie's grown so much. It's been awesome to watch her this year.
Yeah, and it's awesome to watch you.
Thank you.
What you're doing. If you could give us one last piece of advice to a young entrepreneur that's watching you right now, what do you say to them?
I guess I think the most solid advice that I could give is just stay really hungry. But I believe in the power of what I just talked about is like the team and listening and making decisions based upon a collective and not just, your own gut instinct. You have to, I think businesses all requires three key things, right? It's capital, it's human capital, and you got to sell something. So those key elements, you need to find and become experts at what you think you're been designed to do. And when you lack those gaps, you better identify those partners that kind of fill those gaps in. And that's, to me, been the journey. And it's a process. You get a really good feeling about some, and some you're like, this is not my guy or gal, and I need to move on. And that's probably the hard part, is getting the right people on the bus and having a clear vision of where you're going, just like anything else. And you're going to make some mistakes, and you're going to fail. And I've failed a lot. So,
well, you're not failing on this one. This is amazing. Dripz, guys. I'm with my friend Paul. Look up Dripz. You guys need this. You need to learn all about it. And it started here in Utah first. This is the Business Spotlight. I'm Peter Anthony. I'm your host. We are excited. Like, share, subscribe, and most of all, support local Utah businesses.